Hey, what's up guys? John Cortese back at you live here from CTS Strength Conditioning in Napa, California. And we're going to just do a real quick video today on how we gauge flexibility and mobility on our new athletes that come in. Very simple tool, very simple test. It's inexpensive, it takes about 5 minutes or less. And it lets us see basically the big picture on what we need to work on as far as athletic movement and helping keep our athletes injury free. Alright, so what I have here, I hope you can see this, is the overhead squat test. Also requires is a broomstick, yardstick, anything that is a longer object that resembles a barbell. Okay, so what we have our new athletes do when they come in to assess their mobility, we put them through a little basic warm up, 5 to 10 minutes worth, general warm up, so we can get an idea of how they move. All right. Then I just take them through the overhead squat test. All right. So I have them put the bar in their back with a snatch grip, and I just have them press the bar about 5 times. If they are having trouble pressing the bar straight over their shoulders like this, all right, you've probably seen this before, where you press the bar and you're like, you move your head forward to allow the bar to travel this way because you're so tight. Okay? If they can't get the bar back this way, we have some issues in the shoulder. Okay? That's number one. If they cannot get back there, and I know they've got some internal rotation problems, and we need to get their shoulders back. Okay? Number two, have them perform a squat with the overhead squat, or with the bar, overhead in the overhead squat position, and without it. Okay, so we're looking at hip mobility, ankle mobility, and flexibility, and the strength of their feet. So this would be a good test to do barefoot or with their socks on, so you can see how their feet move. Okay, it's unbiased, no weightlifting shoes or anything. And so we're looking at if the knees go in. Okay, that's an indicator of weakness of the adductors of the thighs, and also tightness in the hips. If the ankles are tight or stiff, then we know that they're, or they're not mobile enough. Their heels are going to come off the ground, just automatically. So it'll look like they're just squatting on their toes, all right? Or they'll just sit back and their knees will just go right in, and then the arch of their feet will collapse as well. Okay, so we've got weak feet, tight hips, weak adductors, and weak abductors as well because they can't pull their knees out, right? They can't push their knees out with the abductors of the hips, all right? Very common, very, very common in the squat, especially. Most kids just don't squat all the way down. All right. Then we're looking at, so let me get back to that. So we have shoulder mobility and hip flexibility, ankle flexibility and mobility, okay? And then the strength of the feet. Now the last thing we're looking at as well is their upper back strength, okay? So bars overhead, we say squat. As they squat, maybe their hips are good, but their upper back, the bar goes like this. Okay? So we've either got upper back weakness, so if they're sitting in the squat and I say to put the bar on your back and press it, maybe they can press it a little bit, but then they got to go forward to compensate for that movement deficiency they have. Okay? And thoracic spine mobility as well. So again, this is all very, very, very common because the average person is not moving in this plane of movement that we're asking them to do. So it's kind of weird, kind of awkward. It might hurt a little bit, but that's because, again, they're not used to moving in that full range of motion. So how do we fix it? Shoulder mobility issues, they just got to maybe I would recommend staying away from any sort of horizontal pressing except for maybe push-ups for a while. So this kind of problem alleviates itself. You got to do a lot of pulling, band pull-aparts, broomstick, shoulder dislocations, and then stretching your pecs big time, okay? Squatting, I love goblet squats, personally, as a beginner entry-level exercise, and it's a good warm-up. It is. It's a great weighted stretch. You can just even grab a moderate to heavier dumbbell and just sit in the squat, and it's going to push you down deep in that squat. So while you do that, keep the weight close to your chest, and get your elbows inside your knees and push your knees out, okay? Keep your chest up, knees out, eyes straight ahead. It's a great stretch. That should be done every single day. Ankle mobility, stretch the calves, roll them out with a foam roller, lacrosse ball. Same thing with the feet. You can roll your feet with a lacrosse ball. Do your warm-up barefoot. Try not to wear big, bulky shoes or cleats if possible, because those ankles need to move, guys. Ankle braces, in my opinion, are what causes a majority of ankle sprains because the foot is so immobile and the ankle is so immobile, it's like in a cast, right? So every time you're moving like a basketball game or any sport that these kids are wearing ankle braces, their ankle's not free to move. So the minute they come off, it's it's not used to all that movement, right? And then it's something's got to give, you know. So these tendons and ligaments are just casted. They're not strong to move. So the instant it goes one way or the other, it's gonna stretch, causes a sprain. Then they're in major pain, right? So then they want to wear them over and over again. It's like a vicious cycle. Okay. And we have upper back and thoracic spine issues again. Foam roller, stretch the pecs, tricep stretches. Anything where whatever movement you see, you got to think opposite of how to fix it. So if we see internal rotation, tight pecs, we got to externally rotate the shoulders and pull them back. Okay. If we have tight hips and the knees buckle as they squat, we got to say knees out every time you sit down in the squat. And we got to strengthen those muscles. How do we do that? Just practice full range of motion squatting and be aware that the weight is not important initially, and you have to be aware of good technique and form, first and foremost. The weight will come eventually, but we have to be aware of how they move. That's the whole point of being a strength and conditioning coach, is better moving athletes, keeping them injury free, and then getting them stronger and faster. Just a byproduct, okay? That's it, guys. That's a very, very simple test of how we gauge our mobility and flexibility in our new athletes. On average, if you are persistent enough, these problems will clear themselves up over time. I'm a big believer in using full range of motion on everything, including squatting. And the overhead squat is a great exercise and tool to assess where they're at now. And it shows me good athleticism. If you can sit in a full overhead squat with the bar, over your shoulders, chest up nice and tall, sitting all the way in a squat, you're in good shape. Okay. That's it, guys. John Cortese, CTS Strength Conditioning here in Napa. CTSgym.com. Got any questions on athletic development, speed, strength, power, whatever, guys? I'm an open book. Feel free to drop a comment below, and don't forget to like and share. Have a good day. See ya.